so crazy about you. I'm so crazy about you. Babe, we can count all the stars in the sky as they pass by your face.
Good morning, good morning. It is Sunday and I'm just gonna open the window because it's not raining anymore. I just want to get some fresh air because I'll be stuck inside for the next 14 days. It's kind of really interesting because when I was living here back in the day, I was able to see all the way down the road. It wasn't this woody or bushy before, and that fencing also used to not be there. The white fences used to not be there, so it used to be just a brick. But yeah, it's very woody now. Everything used to be open and kind of inviting back in the day, but I guess things have changed from like 20 years ago. So yeah, so I grew up here basically from, I don't know how long we lived here, because I do have memories of us moving in apartments, and we eventually moved here for a couple years, I would say 5 or 6 years. I just have so much memories with this house. It used to be super underdeveloped, and now there's like a bridge and there are a lot of cars coming by. It used to be just, you know, a few houses. They like newly just built it and we moved in with a couple of our neighbors, which aren't a lot. Like, we don't have a lot of next door neighbors, because when we built this, I think my parents built this house and moved into it, so it wasn't like anyone was living here before. So it was a newly built neighborhood in a way, and it's super deep in the woods, so I think they wanted to, you know, move into somewhere with fresh air, like apart from like all the apartments and all of that craziness. So they did it, and I have so many memories just, you know, going out and about in the woods. And there's also a hiking trail like up this way, and like there's a creek. There's so many like outdoors stuff to do. There's also a temple if you walk like half a mile down that way. And I had a lot of neighbor friends who were around my age, probably a little bit older since I was so much younger, but I did hang out with them a lot. I don't know where they are now. I think their parents probably still live there, and I know that my grandma keeps in contact with them, but yeah, it's really interesting. And I definitely have been here before after I moved to the States, because I've been to Korea after I visited my grandma, and my grandma was the one who was living in this house after we left and who was kind of taking care of it. So yeah, I've been here, and the last time I was here was when I was in Korea for about 6 months to teach English. I didn't live here because I had to live where I was teaching. I lived like 20 hours away from my grandma's house, but I would come on the weekends to visit her. That's the very last time I've been here, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a while. I'm really glad to be back. The fresh air seems really nice. As you guys know, Korea does require a 14-day quarantine. Normally, if you don't have a place to stay, you are obligated to stay at a government provided facility, at a hotel or whatnot, and pay over 1,500 around in US dollar values. So of course we just wanted to stay here and not waste our money, so that's why I'm here. But I also came with my mom, and you guys have seen that in the video, but she got hers exempt. So she came here mainly for my grandma, but for other business purposes too. So that's how she got her quarantine like facility or home quarantine exempt. So it doesn't mean she can like just go out and about at public places, but I believe she had to provide all of her daily schedule and agenda to list out like where she's going, like who's gonna be her ride, and all the little details that enable them to track her down and track her whereabouts. For her, she had to get tested right away instead of waiting a day later like me. Like today, I'm required to contact local government personnel to get my testing done at a local clinic. But for her, they made her stay at the airport and get the testing, and she had to stay overnight nearby the airport at a hotel that they provided her with. They weren't gonna have time to catch her after she left, so that's why they made her stay and made sure that she got her test results while she was at the airport. So that's why we're separated, and that's why I had to find my way home alone, which is kind of frightening because I do speak Korean, but it's not super fluent, and I sound pretty fluent, but it's definitely not 100%. And it sucks because I don't have an accent, or I can pretty much get by without having an accent and people detecting it, but doesn't mean that I am, understanding 200%. I was a bit nervous, trying to find my way here with the bus. I had to hop on a quarantine bus, and then they also connected me to a car once I got to the bus station. So I got home at about 11 p.m. and now it's 7 a.m. And about to, I guess, just stay home and people watch through this window because I have nothing else to do. I already did my daily check-in that you're required to do during your 14-day quarantine. So that's just like the self symptom checks, like fever, short of breath. But there's an app that you need to use every day, twice a day for 14 days and check in your self symptom checks. It's gonna be a long 2 weeks, but I'm excited and can't wait to show you guys after I escape from here after 14 days.
They call me Mr. Tips.
I'm the nice guy, this ain't my fault. Thought I found love, well I thought. Threw me away, tossed me in the fall. Stuck in your world, now I'm lost. You say you want me, you ain't acting like it. We on 2 different pages and I'm not a psychic. I can't read your mind, I can't read your mind. I gave you my time, wasted my time.
So I just came back from corona testing, so I actually had to call a cab, COVID safe cab, in order for me to travel from home to the clinic that they required the testing, and that costed me about around $50 in US dollars. So I'm kind of mad because I had no other choice but to use a taxi option. So I'm back home now, and then they told me that I have to be back on the 14th, which is the day right before I'm free from the 14-day quarantine. But Right now, I'm just trying to clean up the house. Since my grandma is hospitalized, she's not going to be home for a while. And since she lives here pretty much by herself with a caregiver, there's just been a lot of stuff. And my grandma, she likes to keep a lot of stuff. And so I know there are a lot of things that are accumulated that my mom and I talked about that we may want to start cleaning up and start organizing. So just trying to make everyone's life a little bit easier and more organized. But yeah, this is so far what we got out of the restroom and the bedroom number 1. And that's all their clothes. There's so many extra blankets and a lot of different stuff here. And then this is my grandma's bedroom number 2. And I just got finished with the closet. She's very into fashion, and I noticed she keeps a lot of her like scarves and stuff like that. So there's just so many things that this is all the stuff that's gonna be donated and thrown away. And like, you know how grandmas are, they kind of keep, I don't know if this is all across the board with grandmas from all over the world, but they do like to keep like empty plastic bottles or containers and a lot of used things. Like for example, she keeps the plastic utensils to reuse at home. So I'm basically throwing like that kind of stuff out. Kind of bit sad because, and this is a part where I'm really glad that I came to Korea with my mom, is because that if I wasn't here, my mom had to organize everything by herself. As I mentioned before, we are considering putting her in a place where she has more eyes on her and she has more care and someone who would like cook for her and maybe have more friends around her age and have a 24-hour care provider rather than just having a daytime care provider, because she is getting to that point of aging where we think that she needs more assistance and stuff like that. So I know it's like a large part of this organization thing is for that, and I know that it's a natural part of aging, but it's still, I can only imagine it's kind of upsetting for my mom. Yeah, I did talk to my grandma this morning and she seems really happy that I'm here. It really sucks that I can't see her for another 14 days. Although I got vaccinated, that's honestly like very, very annoying, because I did find out this morning that Korean citizens, like those who have Korean citizenship, if they got vaccinated and they travel overseas, they do not have to quarantine. So it just doesn't make sense. Like I wouldn't be slightly annoyed if vaccination did not count all across the board, but rules are rules, systems are different, and it's just things have been changing so quickly. So you really have to check like on the weekly of what's going on and what the policies are and everything. But the weather is so beautiful today, and I know I took a couple B-rolls. I also ordered some pastries for breakfast. So I already took a couple bites. If you guys come to Korea, it's a must try to get strawberries. Seriously, they have the world's sweetest strawberries in the world. I don't know how they genetically modify it or whatnot, but so sweet. Like strawberries in America taste like radish in comparison to Korean strawberries.